Good morning. I'm here early, but I'm not going to clock in yet. But I was just thinking about a couple of things that was on my mind. But then I kind of decided maybe I'm just not going to go with that, maybe rather than just tell you how I ponder. Um, because sometimes I'll start thinking about something that I'll see or witness or something somebody says or does that doesn't make sense to me, and I'll ponder it. But that could be skewed as that I don't agree or think it's bad. But that's not necessarily the case. It's just that I'm not for sure if I totally understand where they're coming from. Maybe a little bit of explanation would soothe my mind concerning certain topics or subjects. So that's kind of where I come from, and I'm not kind of built to offend, nor am I kind of defending myself. I just see something I don't understand and talk about it. But instead of that, I'm going to talk about a fellow that was been on my mind. There was a minister by the name of Mike Williams that used to travel with Norval Hayes some at his conventions, and I'd always see him down in Gatlinburg in those meetings down there. And he's a very interesting fellow. He's like 6'6", had some really bad stuff happen to him as far as abuse that made him travel down a road that he wasn't comfortable with and ended up in a mental institution. And, he'll go on to say that he was shaking in a shower stall that couldn't decided if, the choice between having cheese on a hamburger or not would throw him into mental quandary. I guess the very definition of being insane. And he'll say, well, God looked down in that shower stall and saw this guy that couldn't make that decision and decided he'd make a Bible teacher out of him. And he's good. I mean, he makes you think in very interesting aspects. He probably goes south on some of them that other people go the other direction, but he sounds pretty reasonable. And sometimes reasonable doesn't really fit it in the way things are going now. And the thing that he had mentioned that I always found was fascinating is that he always declared we're fighting a battle that the war's already been won. Why fight? It's like if you got somebody locked in a jail cage and they're rattling the bars, all they can do is rattle the bars. They're already locked up. But we continue to wear ourselves out, and that was a sign from him, from his aspect, that the cross and what Jesus done at Calvary was not successful. We've got to finish the battle. Which, when he puts it like that, then I'm like, oh, okay, fine. That could be a psychological thing to make the people that really war till they're exhausted, look bad. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care, but it was reasonable to me. So I've been thinking about him and where he's at and what he's doing and that kind of thing. I might look him up, but I'll talk to you later. Bye. Good morning. At work, been here a while. These days I come in early. Well, I'll have Friday off. If I make it there, I'm kind of still struggling a little bit. I don't know if I'm completely over whatever I had. I know I've done a couple of hospital beds, and I barely got them to their spot. But once I get them there, and get it set up and walk away, then I'm fine. But I don't feel pain like normal, so I can't really tell if I'm hurting myself. I just know in the process, it is extremely difficult. And so I may ask for some extended time off. Just trying to recover. Anyway, I wish I had something more positive or more uplifting to say, but I'm tired. And it'll all come. It was absolutely beautiful sunrise this morning. And one thing to be grateful for, real orange. But anyway, I'll talk at you later. Good morning. I'm here early. I've been cleaning for a while. I did a video earlier, but I didn't post it. It was just thoughts on the Kundalini awakening, and pondering if it was just kind of re labeling other things. But I didn't post it, and a lot of times I don't. It did its job. It helps focus thoughts that I have just to do a video. Whether I post it or not is kind of irrelevant. It still does the job, because a lot of times I'll have so many thoughts going through my head that if I take time, get out a recorder, and just start talking about one of them, now it's just one that I'm talking out loud to a recorder, and not like 14 thoughts that I'm trying to process all at the same time. But I said that to say this. I was also thinking about somebody that I'd known for a long time, and I brought it up to somebody else, and they said, oh yeah, 45 years ago I had a bad experience with this person, and they didn't like them. And I thought, boy, that was kind of wild. That was like 45 years ago. That was a long time. And I wonder if the person, nowadays, 45 years later, was truly sorry about what they did, or even remembered it. Because there's things that I've done that I still have flashbacks thinking, man, that was the dumbest thing that I ever did. How could I be the goofiest kindergartner ever? Well, maybe not to that degree, but yeah, it's kind of shocking. I've done some dumb stuff and regret it, and am sorry for it. So maybe the person is, maybe they're not, but you don't know. And it's just kind of weird to hold something that somebody did to you decades in the past and let that just kind of hang over your head. Well, if I'd done any dumb things to anybody, I'm sorry. If I'd done them in my past, or if I'd done them yesterday, which is possible too, because I still do goofy stuff. I'm working on it. Bye. Good morning. I got a little saying I do, more of a confession type thing, that I typically keep to myself, just out of not really wanting to be judged about what I do. But my thoughts were in the process of, since I've evidently got an infection that causes inflammation of the brain, and then I was thinking of family members and others that may have dementia or something like that, their spirit don't have it. So I wonder if you could reach in beyond your physical fleshly brain and tap into the spirit and function better in a thought process than you would otherwise. So in thinking like that, I thought of a little saying that is, I am an interdimensional being. I calculate off the atoms in the air. My intelligence exceeds the limitations of my brain, and I can leave my body at will and explore. I'm in perfect health, perfect genetically, and getting younger, but not to lengthen my years, for when I retire the shell, I'll walk out and not come back. Peace, love, and compassion are my substance. It sustains me. The feelings of peace and confidence are combined with the emotions of heartfelt gratitude and humility when I've come to the revelation that I'm a spirit having a human experience. And I do that, and I feel everything slow down. I feel thoughts run better. Don't know that I'm tapping into the spirit side of me, but it makes me feel good. But I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. I'm here early, but I was thinking about a video I'd watched, and a fellow, he's a psychologist, talking about the difference between suppressing anger like in an unhealthy way. I guess suppressing anger is unhealthy, the way he was talking, and releasing it in a healthy way, and I'm assuming in a healthy way he's talking about not punching somebody in the face. And I found that interesting, especially some of the effects that the suppressing anger would cause, the symptoms. But expressing anger in a healthy way is alien to me a little bit because we was raised that you didn't express anger whatsoever. You held it all in. And of course, I've got a pretty bad temper, so that is just kind of routinely ended up in just bottling it all up till finally something explodes, which even my supervisor talked to me about that and said, one of these days, something that's going to trigger, you're going to explode, and it'll probably won't be anything that major. It'll be a small thing, but to you, you'll just explode. I'm thinking, man, I've got to deal with anger in a healthy way. You can, I don't know, they say go out and kick a trash can or something. But maybe just in like this video itself might be dealing with it, because the more I speak, the more relaxed I get about it. But I come in the mornings and we have a dirty room, and I have a table I clean stuff on. Now, I don't mind if mattresses are on that table. That's only logical. Keep them off the floor and keep them from getting dirtier than they already are, and then I'll clean them first thing when I come in. But when anything else is piled up around the table, the first thing I do in the mornings is put it in the dirty room, which should have been in the first place. And usually, like almost this morning, I put it in a way that's not really conducive to probably good, I don't know even how to put it. I do it very angrily, and that's not cool. So I'm kind of chastising myself there, but it bugs me. So to keep this video from getting any longer and just kind of stretching it out, I'm going to work on that. Maybe just do videos every time it happens. There's a few of the guys that they may see this, and I'm fine with it. If I talk to them, it usually ends up probably something that'll trigger it, and it'll sound nastier than what I initially intended it to. So yeah, see, I'm breathing easier already. It's better. It might not be quite as satisfying as a punch in the face, but maybe so. But I'll blab at you later. Bye. The Bible says, how beautiful are them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. And we know it's not really talking about how pretty your feet are, but rather you're welcome to walk in their presence when you give glad tidings of good things, versus the ones that are negative or just mean. We've seen them, especially in the retail part of business, and you see a customer walk in and you know them, and you know they never have anything good to say, and if not, then they're just plain mean. There you cringe and you shun them. But I sure don't want to be that person that people shun when they see me coming, but yet have glad tidings of good things, that I'm always welcome to walk into their presence at any time. I was also thinking of the aging process when I thought of that, and I'm thinking, boy, some people age more gracefully than other people, and I wonder if that has to do more, just more than biology. We know the genetics may have a thing to do with this, but maybe that's a reflection of the inside and the outside. I was thinking of the chronic worrier, and they always relive an event that never really happens because they're worried that their kid's going to die every time they go out. And that has got to be hard on your aging process, as well as just your mental health, because you're just constantly going through that. I don't know. It was just something that I was thinking about. When I see something like that, I try to dig in deeper I don't really judge. Nobody can kind of help that, or even the chronic worrier can't really help that. Once they're cognitively aware of what they're doing, they might redirect their thoughts to more productive, um, but the key is being cognitively aware of who you are. It's, you know, kind of secret to life is to know yourself or to any kind of growth. I'll think about it more and blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Here a little early, cleaning some stuff. Kind of hoping to take maybe a mental health half day. I ask, so they'll probably wonder why I just didn't take a full day, but I just want to keep on going. But I was thinking about this morning. I'd done a video, I don't know, a year or so back. It's on YouTube, on words. The right words are hard to come by, or something like that. Discussing the thought, especially of abstract meanings and constructs of reality. And one thing I kind of like to talk about is perspective, because everybody's perspective is different, and it's kind of a beautiful thing. And experience is something too. But I can discuss some of this stuff with somebody, especially if it's in person, where you can kind of read their emotions or whatever, maybe over some coffee at breakfast, and we're talking about something, and their eyes will widen and like, oh yeah, and then they'll add to it, and they'll talk, and right then you see like the little bubbles pop over my head with a cloud saying, yeah, they totally missed everything I was saying. And then I thought, why is it so hard to verbalize these constructs? No matter how hard you try to word something to only have the meaning you're wanting it to have, like what's the idea in your head, it still can be interpreted so many different ways. You can't orchestrate a sentence that can't be interpreted in more than one way. It's impossible, because all of us are different. All of our perspectives are different. You can say something as simple as, I love you, and that can be orchestrated in multiple ways. Like, oh my gosh, he wants to do them. Big sigh. Anyway, been thinking about that. I'll ponder it some more, and maybe I can get it across exactly what's in my brain. But maybe not, and if not, that's okay. But I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. Just taking a break here at work. This will be my second video. I did another one earlier. But these kind of make me feel good, and sometimes when things kind of get kind of goofy and I just talk about it, it helps. I even talked with a friend that he says, whatever you do, don't stop doing those videos, because I can see a difference in you. Like once you've had a problem and you go talk it out and come back, he notices that I'm just different about it. And just saying that, I was kind of pondering while I was cleaning a test that I frankly failed. And it was an individual that through the years, any communication I ever had with him was of a condescending nature. And finally got to the point where I just avoid him completely. But it got to me, and it probably shouldn't, because it's not a personal thing. It is what it is. He's a condescending person, so he does that to everybody. It wasn't just me. I just didn't handle it right. And to even make sure, just because I got out of the situation, I haven't seen him in years, but I ran across a picture of him, and he was unrecognizable. I wouldn't, if we passed on the sidewalk, I wouldn't have known who he was. And a part of me was like, boy, I mean, and it wasn't in a good way. Kind of, I don't know. It was just not, my thoughts towards it was, well, you got what you deserve. And then immediately rebuked myself because that was a horrible thing to even think. If anything, I should have pitied the man and wondered if there was something wrong with him. I don't know. I work to the best of my ability and love. I am human, so, and very sensitive, especially with someone who just is condescending to me. I'm working out. That's a test that I keep, redoing because I keep failing it. I'll work harder, and hopefully, even just doing this video, there'll be a little something that just like a pin drop that just hits the right spot that softens my heart towards that individual and that deal. And like I said, he's not going to change. So even if I saw him again, more than likely the words coming out of his mouth would be condescending. That's just kind of what he is. But I can change, and that's what I want. But good morning. Been cleaning here and stopped to watch the sunrise. It's beautiful this morning. I started getting a little ticky yesterday, and it still continued. It was one of those mornings where I was half tempted to call in, but I just keep on going because I think that's the thing to do. You can't really give in to that stuff. It seems to magnify it and make it worse. But if you just kind of keep on going, something good will happen, and then you can magnify the good, and then it overshadows the dumb stuff of life. Or at least that's my theory. That's what I'm going on anyway. I know some people will say, well, it's all in his head, or it's kind of a psychological view, but I consider the psychological reality as pertinent as the physical one. I mean, if it makes you happy, whether it's in your head or whatever, matter of fact, that doesn't even make a whole lot of sense when people complain about that, then do it. I mean, it's real. The moon's out. I've taken a few photos of the moon, and I like to do that. That's another thing that kind of makes me feel good. I like to download them to my computer and do a little touch up. Some of the best ones I didn't even have to touch up, or if I do, it's very little. It's easy to overdo it when you're trying to like add contrast and that kind of thing. But it's going to be a good day. I've got somebody that's going to insure my house, and I'll meet with them. My niece, she's an awesome girl. But I think I'll get better. But I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, just taking a break. Still kind of ticky, but I think I'm doing a little bit better. I don't know, lose my train of thought too easily in those situations, but I don't know if it, if I was maybe had a bug, or if it's allergies, or just the weather, being cold and hot and cold and hot and just, but it's all good, just because the Bible says this too will pass, and things come and things go. I did get a visit from my niece that helped me out on some insurance, and I was really glad to see her. We might spend more time. I kind of avoid some awkward situations sometimes. I probably shouldn't. But it is what it is. I'll let you go, and I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. At work, just doing a little cleaning. Got a mattress up, blowing up, so I figured I'd give you a blab and see how you're doing. I'm doing pretty good. I had a decent weekend. Kind of was off Friday, and it was frustrating to start with the fact they won't insure my house. But I found I've got a niece that has taken care of me, and hopefully we'll get that settled soon. I do kind of look for stuff to be grateful for, just to exercise the gratitude part of existence and life. I am an extreme introvert, and really grateful that I am built that way, because it does tend um, to be a relaxing thing for me to be alone, to contemplate, and to praise in my own way, which most of the time is through gratitude. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go and keep it short. But yeah, I'm doing good. Bye. All right, just taking a little break. I got a little ticky all of a sudden. I'm not for sure why, because I've been doing really good and feeling good, but it catches you off guard, just like all of a sudden you just have a real hard F yeah, just like you're that happy to be here. So sometimes it helps just for me to make a video, and maybe me and Dad used to do a song together, If Jesus Should Come. So I'll do that just a little bit. If Jesus should come, if Jesus should come, I'd welcome the call from on high. There's nothing could hold me, no money or home. I'd leave without saying goodbye. Good morning. Sitting out in my van, the guys were in the back garage doors while I was cleaning, so I was getting out of their way till they're done, and then I'll go back to work. But I was thinking of a gal that I had listened to, that she's given explanations of spiritual matters, and they didn't really kind of make sense to me. She was saying the left side of the brain sees material, while the right side of the brain sees spiritual, and this and that, and it didn't really make sense. That doesn't mean that there's not something to it, but if God is love, and we're children of love, and we execute that love in a manner that is conducive to love, that means way more to me than any explanation that our brains can produce. I'm still kind of convinced we might be living in a preschool situation here. So if I see a group of preschoolers trying to explain how a TV works, I'm not going to pay much attention to it. I'm there too. There's a lot of things I don't know, but I just know it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Just here early cleaning some stuff, but I had something that was just, I was thinking about, and it kind of got me a little excited just even pondering the idea. But I was almost having an imaginary conversation, let's say, with Dad concerning beliefs and this place and that place. And in this conversation, I said, well, I guess you're special because you were born into this belief line versus what 8 billion people on this planet could be born into. And then I thought for a second, well, dang, that's pretty cool when you think about it, because you're special. Now, I don't mean like me, like turning the finger to me like I'm special. I'm talking to the person that is viewing this from your perspective. You have an individual perspective on everything around you, especially when you look at yourself consciously, like your eyes are open, you're aware of your own awareness. That's kind of cool, man. I'm going to ponder that some more, because there's something to that. Let me think about it, and I'll get back with you. Yeah, I'll get back with you. Good morning. Here early, fixing to get started, but I had something on my mind. I was listening to a scientist talk about the way the brain works, and with thought um, and versus reality, the brain produces the same chemicals in either situation. In other words, it can't hardly um, tell the difference between a fantasy thought and reality when it's concerning the chemicals it produces. So if you have like a chronic worrier that every time their kid goes out, they're just waiting by the phone because they know they had just had an accident, and they're just doing that, and in their mind they play the scenario of getting the phone call, and they say, we hate to inform you, but that this has happened and that's happened. Your brain goes through the same chemicals as that it actually happened. So you go through the stress of losing somebody every time they go out, and it didn't happen. It's like a wasted deal. I mean, it's kind of a strange thing, really. Not an easy thing to stop, but once it starts, you can. Then you can kind of take control, because I do that all the time. Mine's not so much worrying, but just smacking the crap out of somebody that bugs me. And then I have to stop myself and say, I just fantasized by ripping that dude's heart out. I can't be doing that. So I don't know how many people I've murdered, but when that happens, you just say, yeah, that's an unproductive thought. I'm not going there, and then change it in a direction that you do want to go. I don't think you can help it like coming in, especially if it's been a long time thing, but you can stop it once you've been consciously aware of what's going on. But anyway, I'll get back to work, and I promise I won't fantasize about killing anybody. Bye. Morning. I'm here at work a little bit early. Well, yeah, way early. I'll clock in a few minutes, but I had enough time to tell you about my weekend and what I went through. I was working on some repairs Saturday, made it at least three trips out to try to get stuff. At the end of Saturday, mission was not accomplished. I didn't do much good with it. I've got a sump pump that every time it kicks on, it pushes water up into the sink, and usually when it's draining fine, it just drains out so fast I just never really worry about it. And but now there's a clog in that drain, so when it pushes up in the sink, we've got to bail the water out before it goes over the sink and into the floor. So I got a snake, 15 foot, and ran it down through there and couldn't reach it, so it's deeper than that. And the last time I had somebody look at the sump pump, they said it really should have been a 2-inch pipe instead of an 1.5 running through there, and it wouldn't back up into the sink. So I'm thinking, okay, I could change that. I could do that myself. But sometimes it's just having somebody to help you gives you a little bit of like a moral backing. Even if I did all the work, just somebody saying, hey, you can do it. Go for it, man. Yeah, great job. Here's a tool if you need it. And I just couldn't bring myself to call anybody. I did message a friend, but that's as much as I could do. I just kind of like, I don't really want to call him, put him under pressure. That's just the way I am. It's just kind of a strange thing. And then I got a work buddy that's the same way. When I show him this video, which I usually do in the mornings, he'll say, you should have called me. I'm like, well, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And there for a little bit, then Sunday, I just was not, the bottom dropped out of it, and it's just like I could not even do anything on it. So, and the longer the day went, the worse I felt about it, because I felt like I was, letting down to it. And, she was working hard at keeping the water off the floor, and we kind of took shifts. Well, it rained where she could sleep and I could kind of take care of it. But just like anything, the Bible says the Holy Spirit's a great comforter. And any time that I get down like that, it doesn't take long till I just almost like I feel a hand lay on my shoulder and tell me it's going to be all right. So I'm going to call somebody, a professional, just to come out there and look at it. It's stuff that I could do, but I'm just not up here. I'm just done with it. And, but I'm glad for that comforting feeling that kind of keeps pushing me along. But anyway, I'll clock in here in a few minutes and get to work, and I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. Been here a couple hours, been cleaning up. Did a video earlier this morning on some of the repairs I was doing and didn't mention I had a roof leak too, but I can take care of that. Anyway, I was thinking about the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, as well as, the Bible says never return evil for evil, but do good for those who despitefully use you. Even goes as far as bless those that curse you. And that, all those are examples that mean more to me than most explanations of deep spiritual matters that actually make me question what's going on. But hey, that's just me. I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Just doing a little cleaning. Took a little break to blab what was on my mind. In this case, it's just getting stuff off my mind because I was a little irritated. So sometimes you talk it out, it makes you feel a little better, a little more productive than punching somebody in the nose. So what I did, about every other Friday, I take off, sort of a mental health deal. But on those days, I come in like really early, like, a couple hours early, and usually make up quite a bit of that PTO. So maybe by the end of the week, I might not need any PTO, or maybe just a couple hours. So I checked my time, and like last week, I worked like 3 10s, and then maybe like a 4.5 or something like that. I was just pooped by the end of it, so I only needed like maybe 5.5 hours. And it's kind of a habit. It seems like every once in a while they'll get it straight, but he still added 8 hours to my day. I didn't need that. And that gets to me a little bit. But I try to learn a lesson and try to be like as zen as I can, like chilled. But boy, a punch in the nose would be just a temporary relief. That wouldn't do it. But it's all good. So I'll blab at you later and maybe have something more inspiring. Yeah. All right, just taking a little break here, yeah. But they got some Halloween candy that I've had way too much of. I've been eating it all day long, so this may be the candy talking, but I love you. A little bit of candy sure makes everybody pretty. Bye. Good morning. At work a little early, just kind of thinking I'm not going to clock in yet. But I was pondering a scripture that I've heard quoted when somebody wants to make an argument against reason, like you shouldn't reason, and they'll say the devil's wisdom was corrupt by reason. But they won't finish the scripture. It says the devil's wisdom was corrupt by reason of his brightness. There was a vanity issue there. He was the only angel that ever mentioned to have actually wealth. It said he sat on fiery gems, and also says he was created by far the most beautiful angel. So between the good looks and the wealth, his reason was, maybe I can be God. Kind of an uplift thing. I don't think it ever says he wanted to dethrone God, but he wanted to be as God, as the Most High. So in that aspect, instead of his reasoning saying, I've got wealth, let me be humbled and grateful, I've got beauty, it was a, maybe I can be God type mentality. Well, the more I think about it, the more that kind of seems like a human trait. I'll ponder that a little more. I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. I'm here at work. Been here, I don't know, a couple hours probably. Um, Getting some stuff done. Got an air mattress blowing up, so I just took a break. And it took a little bit to get here. I took yesterday off as a kind of a mental health day. Just wasn't feeling it. And it was kind of the same way starting, but I just was determined, and I promised when I called in yesterday, like, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And I am, and I just pushed through it, and I'm glad I did. And now, and I guess it's probably like a subconscious defense mechanism, but if you know it, maybe it turns it into a conscious defense mechanism, that you become a little bit dissociative. You kind of feel that numb, kind of don't care type feeling. I don't do it consciously, but I am aware of how I feel. And it gets me through. I'm just not sure that's the healthiest means, but it just happens, and I don't know that there's much I can do about it. But just keep telling myself I'm happy, which I am for the most part. I'm pretty groovy, let me tell you. But anyway, I was just thinking about some of the sights I see coming down here, because we're in the kind of a bad area down here with Deaconess Hospital. And I don't care what time, if I'm coming through here at like 3 a.m. or 5 a.m., there's like people walking around everywhere, and you can tell they're homeless. A lot of them will have a blanket wrapped around them. And I think, boy, it's a shame somebody can't help these people. Like maybe a family member just kind of take them in. But I guess, to be fair to them, they're probably not the easiest people to deal with when you try to help them, because most of them will probably have some kind of a mental disability of some kind. And I guess if you think about that too, the families that are functioning well enough to take care of themselves may have their own problems too, because that sometimes is hereditary. They've got a genetic thing that's just been passed on. So it's understandable. Just kind of sad, makes me think. But anyway, I'll get back to work and I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Been here an hour or so, but this morning I was pondering a couple different personality types or individuals. One that might look ahead and ponder their actions from a future standpoint, and they might ponder the ramifications. And if they do that with an empathetic ability, they might look and see how my actions might hurt somebody else, or whatever. And then another that, for lack of a better term, have almost an insect instinct, that are just going by instinct alone. They don't ponder the ramifications of what they're doing. They don't really care, it seems. It's almost like they've got a program, they're maybe programmed to test individuals around them. In that case, I guess there might be a benefit to their existence. But that's about it. It's like an NPC in a computer game that's not really alive. I don't know. What got me thinking about this is I posted like my last video on YouTube. I was just a song I did, and the only comment I got was how bad it was. I'm thinking, boy, that is interesting that they felt the need to tell me how bad I'm doing. And then I look at the analyst report and realize that nobody's viewed it. It's got 0 views for no amount of time whatsoever. So I'm thinking, well, somebody saw that I done a practice of Take On Me and felt the need to comment without even listening to it. That is weird, man. Well, I don't know. I hate to say those people just don't exist, but that's not real. That's somebody who's, if they are not just an NPC in some kind of computer game or designed to test our faith or resolve, they're definitely asleep. But anyway, I'll blab at you later, and I'm going to have a good day regardless. Bye. Good morning. Been to work a little bit. There's an air mattress I got blowing up, so it takes a little bit to get pumped up, so I figured I'd share my thoughts. But I was going to share a little bit of a change. For one, in the past, I never have really cared for memes. They just kind of seem goofy to me. But lately, I've kind of even grown less tolerant, hence the change from my perspective, because like 95% or more of them are making fun of somebody, and without knowing the other end of the story. It'd be like a shoddy construction job or a shoddy electrical work, and you don't really know. Yeah, first glance, they look pretty bad and even dangerous. But I said, you don't really know the story. Maybe they tried to get somebody to help them that knew what they were doing and were blown off. Or maybe they didn't have the right tools. Maybe there's just this and that. Or maybe it's not even real. Maybe it's made up by somebody who's just trolling us. That happens all the time. I saw that on a pic that went around that was a plastic pitcher that they had a close-up shot and of the handle, and those plastic pitchers had kind of reinforcements on the sides, and the caption was, how long was it before you knew this? And it showed them pouring stuff out the handle, but they've cut off in the picture the spout on the other end, and everybody's like, oh, I didn't know just now, I didn't know that. Well, that was never meant to pour out that way. Those are just reinforcements on the walls to keep the handle from collapsing when you pick it up. But they just troll you just for attention. I guess it's just kind of goofy. But anyway, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. But I'll think of something a little more productive maybe, and I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Been here a couple hours, just done a video, but I'm not sure I'm going to even post it. But on this one, because I've been thinking about so many things, I could go in so many different directions. But I was thinking about perception and interpreting the evidence of things we see around us. And I was watching some girl explain something that she called like a Kundalini awakening. I'd never heard of it, and I just clicked on it because like I had no idea what she was talking about, and I like to learn new stuff. So she described this this event that is supposed to be somewhat akin to a spiritual awakening, but it's a little different. But the symptoms that she gave, it made me think that it was more like a serious medical condition, and these people might need to be treated. But then she did say what she'd done for these people, and it seemed to be good advice as far as a relaxation techniques, and they made it through it. But I kind of just interpreted most of the stuff that she said, which is not uncommon for me. I interpret most things everybody says differently, and that's why I have such a problem with explanations. I just like to see the evidence and make up my own conclusion, because I usually come up with a different one. But I was thinking about that, and then remembered that event I had in bed where I laid down, I'd been up a while, and then behind my knees really started tingling, just feels like electrical sensation, and then went to my lower back and then on up. And I was thinking, okay, a medical professional might interpret that as, hey man, you're having a heart attack, you need to go to the emergency room. I interpret it as some kind of a rejuvenation, and I just actually closed my eyes enjoyed the feeling because it didn't feel that bad. And, fell asleep for a little bit. When I woke up in about an hour, I felt great. So maybe it was just how you interpret that stuff from an own personal experience. It kind of still leads credit to this being a individual journey. I found it interesting anyway, but I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. Taking a little break in my van while the guys get their vehicles loaded so they can get out of my way and I can do some more cleaning. But it's probably telling my voice I'm a little tired. Probably due for a vacation, but I do have Friday off, so it'll be a long weekend. I was just thinking about the effects we have projecting our thoughts towards other people. And I'd mentioned it before, like, you see somebody that is a particular way and you augment it by noticing it and just saying, boy, that's kind of a freaky little dude, and he grows up to be a freaky little serial killer or something. But on that line, I've kind of brokenhearted a little over, I guess I've created a stumbling block with certain people with stuff that for some reason they think I'm lost and grieve for my immortal soul. And so I'm sure projecting that kind of energy on me is probably not healthy. I don't know how to ease their mind in that sense, or if it's even worth it. It's just weird to me, but I'll just keep on going. And hey, remember, you're probably going to create whatever you think about. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Good morning. Here early, doing some cleaning, taking a little break, and thought I'd share what was on my mind. Sometimes what's on my mind is productive, sometimes it's not. And today's probably not so much, as I was thinking over incidents with Dad that always kind of kept me in confusion somewhat. As he pastored and evangelized, we traveled with him, and he was always would declare, you never see anything different than what I am behind the pulpit. And that was just interesting, I guess. But an event that kind of shook me, and it was kind of characteristic with him, was he gets a phone call on our way to church, and somebody who's a part of it said, well, they're not going to be there. They're sick. They got the flu. And Dad's like, on the phone, yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. We understand. We, totally fine. Okay, bye. And I'm thinking while I'm listening to this, boy, he took that good. That's kind of cool, because you never know with Dad. And immediately when he hung up the phone, his comments were, well, if he had his priorities straight, he'd be there sick or not. And was just that angry about it. And yeah, you'll have to excuse me, man, for a lifetime of that. I have a hard time trusting any good deeds anybody does. But anyway, I'm going to try to focus on something that's a little more compassionate, thoughtful. Maybe I'll come up with something that lifts my spirits in that aspect and quit trying to dig up that stuff. But anyway, I'll talk at you later. Bye. Good morning. Just taking a little break. I'm here early on the weeks that I'm off on Fridays, which is every other week. I come in really early just to make up some PTO. So instead of having like 8 hours having to take out, it's only like maybe 2 or 3. but I've got so much on my mind that trying to share all my thoughts while I clean would take way longer than like a 2-minute short video. So predominantly, I've been thinking about um, thoughts, the feelings and emotions that kind of transcend human language. Like if I start talking real fast and my furrowed brows and I get a deeper voice, then somebody's going to know, even if they don't speak English, that I'm aggravated at something. Or if I change that tone and I get lighter, maybe smiles are contagious. Then I'll say, oh, he's at peace, he's happy. You might not know with what unless you were actually with me. Then you could look around and see a circumstance like, oh, okay, that must be what he's talking about. Even if you don't speak my language, those feelings and emotions, compassion, um, empathy, love, sadness, sorrow, they bypass language barriers. And I'm just kind of was pondering that today, finding it interesting. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But if you see this, I know a lot of times Facebook doesn't show like a small percentage of my stuff to my actually friends, and I don't really tag anybody in these videos because that is annoying to myself. But you can check out my wall if you want to see what else I've done. I done a song yesterday I thought was kind of cool. But anyway, I'll blab at you later, and you all have a nice day. Bye. Good morning. I'm at work early and just thought I'd do a quick video. I'm feeling a little better. I think I had a bug last few days that kind of messes my system up, especially with what I've got. It's hard for me to differentiate, if I'm sick, because everything comes out. If I'm sick, it's ticks. If I've got allergies, it comes out as ticks. If I'm struggling with pain, it doesn't really come out as pain, it comes out as ticks. Kind of a weird deal. But I was just going to talk to you, share with you what was on my mind about emotions tied to the words. You've heard that, somebody will say, oh, I love you. And they say, well, that's just a word. There's nothing behind it. And that's true. If there's no emotion and no feeling put to that, it's just a word. But you add feelings and emotions, and then you've got something special. Just like hate. Hate's a word, but you throw feelings and emotions in there, and especially if they're directed at somebody, the Bible calls you a murderer. So I'm going to think about the emotions I put behind the words. But I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. Just taking a little break. Thought I'd do a video, see if it can kind of lift my spirits a little. But I did hear kind of something somebody said about love, that said if somebody says they love somebody, what they're really meaning is they say they love the way that person makes them feel about themselves. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if I completely agree with that in all aspects, but it is definitely could be a part of it. There is a strange love, I guess, that somebody might say if they're being abused by a mate, that they can't leave them because they're just so in love with them. And I can't say that I understand that at all, but that's just my perspective. But I wonder if I can push that around towards the hate and say if somebody just says, they just hate that person, if they're thinking about the point that they may hate the way that person makes them feel about themselves. That could be, again, in some aspects, maybe not in every one, because maybe it's a indespicable deed that somebody just absolutely hates, and they use that term to express the emotion of what they feel like that person just did. But I'll ponder that. I definitely don't want to make anybody have bad feelings about themselves. It's kind of a strange thing, but I will be me, as long as it don't step on any kind of moral conscious feeling that I have, and then I'll exercise discipline to look inward and try to correct any kind of situation like that. But anyway, I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. I just wrote down a few thoughts on break, so I was going to share them with you. I usually try to ad-lib this stuff, but sometimes my thoughts are sporadic, so I just wanted to get them down. I once told a minister friend that my belief in a creator is not based on anything about people's actions or that of an organization's efforts. He immediately said, "Aw, that's too bad." I immediately realized that he didn't understand where I was coming from, so I pointed to the stars. That tells me there's a creator, the complexity of the universe, the complexity of you and I. It's inconceivable to think this is a wonderful accident. Man throws in explanations that at times make no sense. That used to bother me, but not anymore. I've got such a peace when it comes to how I perceive evidence, and the 8 billion people on this planet perceive evidence. I'm just comfortable with how I interpret my surroundings, and I'm comfortable with the fact I could be wrong. But I'll blab at you later. Bye. Good morning. I worked a little early, just didn't feel like clocking in yet. Don't feel real good today, but it's all right. Just pondering a little bit this morning on kind of judgment and how you feel like when you really feel like people are judging you wrongly, or maybe they've mistaken stuff that you've said, because you meant it one way and they take it another. And it's totally understandable. I mean, they're processing it with their processor, and they can only do so much. They can't really jump in your head and process what you're saying with your processor, and then it might make a little more sense to them. But you almost have to just analyze all that stuff as an individual perspective from one person to another, and then it doesn't really mean as much, because you're going to find people that understand you, and you're going to find people that don't understand you. Matter of fact, the Bible says, "Be weary if all men speak good of you." Well, that's probably initiating some kind of con job. But yeah, it does kind of hurt, but you just have to kind of take it for what it's worth. One person's misunderstanding, or maybe they don't, but still, even if you're a nut, you're processing it with your processor. You can't help it. It is what it is, right? Anyway, I'll try to get myself motivated. I brought my guitar, practice a little bit, but I'm not in a great voice. I sometimes I'll record those practices and listen back and just sigh, but it's all right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Just taking a little break, a little turn of events that I wanted to talk out just to ease my mind. But I'm starting vacation sometime, just as long as I can make it today, and then I'm going to be off through Thanksgiving, and then the day after Thanksgiving I'll come back and see what I've got here to kind of catch up on. But it was an unfortunate event. A lot of people in the back, but a gal from up front comes down and hands me a ticket, and I guess it just set something off as far as the Tourette's, and I got so ticky that it was just very uncomfortable. The customer, and when I told them I had Tourette's, they totally understood. They had dealt with kids, or used to kids with that, and so they're fine with it. I'm not, though, because it was not pleasant whatsoever. It was loud. I'm surprised they didn't hear me from the other end of the building. But it is what it is, and I've been putting it off for a long time, and maybe this is kind of what it takes, almost like a deal where, if you're not going to do it on your own, circumstances are going to make it to where you don't have any choice, which I do. But after that, the supervisor just said, "Hey, you got plenty of time if you need to take a vacation." And there we go. I'll keep you informed on how that goes. Bye.